Well, everybody, I'm Cantonese Cat. Hey, everybody, Cantonese Cat here. Weekly chart of Tesla. Gonna pull up the bull market support band, which is consisting of the 20-week moving average (SMA) and the 21-week EMA. Gives you this nice band over here, and during a bull market, you really want to see it reclaiming it. So far, there's a little bit increase in whale. The whalish momentum is not really that strong, but you also have declining in retail over here too. And things have just been going sideways. It's been kind of going sideways, waiting for the bull market support band to flatten out. And this week so far looks like it wants to reclaim the bull market support band, potentially go up higher. Interesting. Looks like it wants to turn the bull market support band from downtrending to flat and potentially uptrending here a little bit. I wonder who would have predicted that. Let's see.
I still think it's probably going to end up ranging sideways. The other thing too I want to show you is, now they're in the weekly chart. I want to show you the bull market support band, which is basically just the combination of like the 20-week SMA and the 21-week EMA, right? So right now we're actually kind of at resistance, if you will. But I'm actually not sure it's a little bit hard to say. But I still think that it might end up having the base because of how negative sloping this is. Especially a 20-week moving average is still negative sloping. I think you probably need some time for you to have the basing, like the flattening of the 20-week moving average a little bit more. Kind of like what happened over here. Like it didn't just go up in a straight line because there's negative sloping. I have to go back and back test it down a little bit. So I think we probably end up like oscillating around here for quite some time because the boomerang support band is still pointing downwards. Like it's gonna take time for it to kind of flatten out and do its thing. Like this chart kind of reminds me of PayPal too, in terms of what it was doing. Like it was trying to flatten over here,
Yep.
and it just takes time. Like this took like a few months. It's still not done yet. Like right now, it's just literally just turning it to support right here. So I think talking about some behavior here for at least maybe a couple months to flatten out the bull market support band. I think the top range is probably going to be 200. Bottom range is probably going to be 168. Is
All right, let's look at what we're seeing here so far. This was a few weeks ago, probably around 6 weeks ago when I was talking about this with the guys. That was the candle that was when we were talking about it. When you had the bull market support band got downtrending, you could potentially service resistance. Got rejected here once, twice, 3 times, 4 times. Got inside of it last week, and we broke above it this week. And the whole thing took maybe a little bit less than a couple months, but we're not done yet because it's still flat, and you can still potentially see price going sideways here a little bit before going up higher. There's also potential for it to hit around 200, and I can show you why that is. 200 would be a very, very important level. I suspect we'll probably end up getting some rejection initially at 200. It might end up kind of come back down here, maybe even range a little bit longer before breaking out 200. The next level is going to be around 210, 220, somewhere around there, which is also going to be a pretty strong resistance. There's a potential we push through above 200 and get to 210, 220, and then end up coming back down, test 200 as support before going up higher too. But the whole process is not going to be like immediate. The whole process is going to take like maybe months. I just think that Tesla just needs to base. There's not really a whole like a lot of whales being in on the weekly chart or the daily chart. So I probably think that it's probably just need to work out its technicals before the next leg up. And I do think that this is the bottom. There are a lot of reasons to think that that is the bottom. If you want to find out why we think that's the bottom, you should really watch episode 1 of the Triumvirate, which we have a special channel called the Triumvirate TA. It's ran by me, the Great Maspy, and the Tesla Tracker. All three of us, we've been trying to do these weekly podcasts on YouTube. We've been trying to do this live stream as well, trying to build our channel. We really like to get to about 1,000 subscribers so we can even consider potentially monetizing it. Right now, we're just literally just doing it for free and for fun. We have 2 videos over here. We also have done 4 live streams so far. So please subscribe to our channel, Mao and Min. And we're going to have a live stream here maybe about an hour or so. So please do subscribe. And, if you really want to hear our thoughts on what we think of Tesla, why we ended up basing about a couple of months ago, it's all there. Okay. Now, enough talking about the past. What about what I think is going to happen in the future? Look at how nice this is, like a very nice head and shoulder type pattern. Probably going to hit resistance around 200 though. And when that happens, it could get rejected, and then we probably need to find support somewhere around here. Hopefully this cup over here is going to be pretty decent support at the top over here around like 166, 186, 187 range, somewhere around there. Hopefully that's going to be pretty decent support before bouncing up higher. We'll see. I just don't expect us to like just keep going up higher. If we do, I'll be a very, very happy cat. But maybe not be totally happy because I'm still trying to accumulate slowly. I do think that anything less than 200 is a good buy for a long term. There are a couple of things I do want to show you in terms of what I'm thinking. In the smaller time frame, things are actually looking a lot more bullish over time. You can see that on the daily chart, initially got broke inside the cloud, got rejected at the top of the cloud, right? Went back down through the cloud, went back inside the cloud, back test, broke through the cloud, back test, a little bit overshot, and then went back above. So right now, because price is above the cloud, because you have a little bit of a bullish crossover here on the daily time, and on the daily time frame is actually looking pretty bullish. The retail has basically essentially disappeared. This is a very, very nice trend, even though the whales have not entirely come in yet. On the 2-day chart, you can see that price has gotten above the Tenkan, the blue line over here, and it's broke inside the cloud. Whales are increasing, retails are declining. On the weekly chart, you can also see something bullish has happened. It has reclaimed the Tenkan, which is the blue line over here, or the conversion line, whatever you want to say it, from resistance to support. This is a very, very important thing that is a key thing from flipping from a bear market to a bull market. So on the weekly, it's starting to look more and more bullish, and the Tenkan or the conversion line is pointing up. And it looks like it wants to serve as pretty decent support, push price up higher. You do have a lot of resistance above. You can see that right here. Around 200 is when the Kijun is coming down, so they can potentially serve as a little bit of resistance moving forward. And on top of that, you have a Ichimoku cloud here. Over here, initially it was around 200. I think we got really close to it, got rejected, so we've just been kind of ranging between around 167, 168, which we've mentioned, a few weeks ago. We really have tested this 168 level here for several times, and it tested around close to 200 here about once, right? So I still think 200 is probably going to be a resistance. I think that above that maybe around like 220 over here is going to be potential resistance. I think 210 is going to be a resistance level. So you're talking about you still kind of stuck in that range so far, and even if the price went up a lot higher, it might still not be sustainable because you have a lot of resistance above that is trying to break. So we will see what happens. I'm going to continue to look at a time frame on the 2-week chart. On the weekly chart, you can see that whales are slowly coming in, retail slowly declining, even though it's still really not much whales. So I don't think it's really quite ready to run yet. On the 2-week chart, a little bit more whales coming in, a little bit less retail. Really have flipped the Tenkan, the blue line over here, from resistance to support, hasn't it? Right. The monthly is not going to give you that good of a picture. It's just basically went underneath the cloud. You don't have a bullish cross quite just yet. And price is underneath both the Tenkan and Kijun and the cloud. The bottom of the cloud is going to be around like 214, 213 or so. And the Tenkan and Kijun is probably going to end up meeting around like 200 in the month of July. And if price trying to push up about to 200, it's probably going to end up getting some resistance over there. So 200, 210, 220, all of this, potential resistance level above. The other thing I do want to talk about that is very important to talk about is, what is it? Is the Bollinger Band. What is the Bollinger Band doing right now? Well, it's been squeezing very hard for about a few weeks. It's just been going sideways for a few weeks and just been squeezing really hard for a few weeks. Whenever it's squeezed this hard, it's probably going to end up exploding. And when it ends up exploding, it's probably going to end up going either one direction or the other. And when it explodes, it can go up like 10% in a hurry. Like that's, or it can go down 10% in a hurry. Just like what happened the time before that. Bollinger Band squeeze over here, it just went down in a hurry, right? Right now, it does favor that we're flipping the 20-week moving average, the 20-day moving average, a little bit from oscillating around it into pretty decent support, right? So it's kind of opening up the Bollinger Band here. We'll see whether or not you end up getting a little bit of a more impulsive move here in the short term. On the 2-day, you can also see the Bollinger Band again is squeezing because price just gone sideways for about a few months now, right? And you can see, actually not a few months, just a few weeks, about 2 months now, right? And the weekly, you also see that it's also squeezing here as well, just because price has gone sideways for so long, right? So it's suggesting that the bigger move is going to come. And when a bigger move come over the next few weeks, you know which direction it's going to go. Probably going to go up because it's trying to flatten the bullish support band. It's been getting above it. It's probably going to get back testing a little bit. Where's the top of the weekly Bollinger Band that it could potentially get rejected initially? Around 200. So you're really talking about a lot of confluence around here, a lot of resistance around here that I would love to see Tesla break, but it hasn't really been able to show that it's able to do that quite just yet. On the 2-week, the Bollinger Band is not really showing you too much, but again, you can see there's some resistance of around 200, right? On the monthly, there definitely isn't any, sign for change or trend for sure, although you do have the 20-month moving average maybe a little bit flattening over here, just because price has gone sideways for about a few months, maybe a little bit more flattening over here. And it's interesting too, like for every single Tesla bottom, you usually have one that you have two bottoms, and usually one that pierces through the lower Bollinger Band, and you have one that kind of get a little bit close, but not quite to the lower Bollinger Band, and then usually the correction is over, right? What happens with the other couple of bear markets, right? You have one that got really, kind of touched the lower Bollinger Band here, and one that pierces through, and the bear market was over. What about the time before that? You have a little bit of a pierce through the lower Bollinger Band, and you have a touch of the lower Bollinger Band, and it just kept on going a little bit higher, right? So I think that theoretically, I think we might be getting pretty close. And then another thing I also want to show you too, instead of telling you to watch my video from a few weeks ago, because that's mean, because who goes back and watch people's videos a few weeks ago? Nobody ever does that. Unbalanced volume is something that is very important to look at, because the unbalanced volume is going to tell you whether or not there's any discrepancies in terms of what the volume bars are telling you and the price is telling you versus what's actually happening. I just want to point out one thing over here is that you have this entire downtrend that had went from over here all the way down to here, right? So this is a very, very, very strong downtrend that happened within a period of closer to about a whole year, or about 10 months, right? What is the unbalanced volume doing during this entire time? It's been going up. There's actually a lot of hidden buying pressures behind the scene, and the unbalanced volume is basically a way to kind of calculate these volume bars over here, and to kind of help you figure out the unbalanced volume based on these volume bars. What happens is generally this: if you truly have a downtrend, then the unbalanced volume shouldn't be going up. This is a classic bullish divergence. It tells you that there's actually a lot of buying pressure behind the scene during this downtrend over here. Because of this, and whenever you have like a very nice kind of capitulation candle over here, and you actually have been forming a little bit of a higher low compared to this low over here, you are really starting to talk about some potential trend change over here that could be happening. And I also show you a lot of things on Ichimoku Cloud in terms of telling you why I think that Tesla may be ready to go up over the next few months, but it's going to be a slow process. I don't think it's going to be fast at all. I think it's going to be a slow process. But anyway, I just kind of wanted to share with you my thoughts on Tesla. And I am still going to keep buying whenever price is less than $200, because I still think the risk reward on the long term is going to be pretty good. If you haven't checked out my friend, the Great Mass B's Tesla video in terms of his crazy targets, you should check it out. It might be clickbait to you, it might be irrational by just hearing the numbers, but I really do want you to check out the YouTube channel for the Great Mass B, because this guy is really good. It's just kind of fascinating in terms of what he's thinking. Anyway, I'm not going to show this video. Please check out his channel. His channel is TGM Trading. I'm done talking about Tesla. Have a good one. Bye.